Hi, this is Ralph Zuranski. I'm on the phone with Ruben Gonzalez, the Lugeman. He's a 3-time Olympian who competed in the luge, which is a sled that goes down a hill, very steep hill, at an incredibly high rate of speed. And Ruben started doing the luge when he was 21. He wanted to be in the Olympics and do something incredible, and he found that that was a sport where there wasn't much competition in the United States. So after 4 years of training, Ruben made it to the Olympics and actually made it to 3 Olympics as a luge competitor. So how are you doing today, Ruben?
Doing great, Ralph. Excited to get to share my story with the In Search of Heroes group.
Yeah. Well, what is your definition of heroism?
Gosh, you know what? I believe a hero is just somebody that is called to a journey or called to a mission, has that calling, and they actually go, right? It's scary to go out there, but they'll face those fears and act in spite of their fears, and in the process of chasing that dream, whatever that calling was, they're transformed because they had to become a better person and learn what they were all about. And then they return a transformed person. And everybody says they're a hero, but it's actually they just did something that anybody else could have done as well, facing their fears and going out for it.
I know a lot of people consider you a hero for accomplishing what you did. Did it take courage to pursue the new ideas that were going to change your life for the better?
Oh yeah, no doubt. And courage is, people sometimes think that someone like me that doesn't have any fear, but everybody has fear. Courage is just, acting in spite of that fear. And I was scared. I had the Olympic dream when I first saw the Olympics. I was in 3rd grade, a 10-year-old kid, but I didn't believe it. I didn't believe I could do it. So I let my fears overwhelm me. And it wasn't for 10 years that it took 10 years of growth to get myself to the point where I was ready to take action. And only when you take action and start facing those fears, are you acting with courage. And so now that I know better, whenever I'm faced with a fear, I've learned over the years, I guess I've learned that fears are really smoke screens, right? It's usually fear of the unknown. And so I say to myself, look, if I face that fear head on and I go for it, I'm acting in a courageous way. If I turn around and I run from the fear, I'm acting like a coward. And so I don't want to be a coward. I'd rather be I fear being a coward more than I fear that fear.
Yes,
so that kind of gets me going.
Well, how important was it for you to believe in your dream that you could be an Olympian and that you could actually compete in the Olympics?
Well, the belief is everything. It really is, because Napoleon Hill said, what you conceive and what you believe, you can achieve. Well, that sounds great, but if you don't believe in yourself, it really doesn't help much, right? And so I had to get myself to the point where I believed that I had what it took to make it happen. And I did it through reading books and through hanging around winners. My dad always said, the people you hang around with and the books you read will determine whether you make your dreams come true, because they help you. If you hang around winners believe more, and you kind of borrow their belief till your belief kicks in.
Well, do you think it's important to surround yourself with people that believe in your dream also, rather than people that are always putting your dream down?
Absolutely. You have to. It's critical, because, see, even when I was 21 and I decided, hey, I'm going to go for it, I realized that, gosh, there's 2 types of people in the world. They're either on your team or they're not on your team. They're either on your dream team or they're not. And the faster you can figure out which team they're on, the better it is for you. And so I would tell everybody what my dream was. I'd say, hey, I'm taking up the sport of luge because I'm going to be in the Olympics in 4 years. Well, I was testing them. They didn't know I was testing them, but I was. See, if they laughed at me after I said that, or they chuckled, or they rolled their eyes, I knew they didn't believe. And so I stopped hanging around with them, because I couldn't allow their disbelief to erode my self-belief. On the other hand, they got excited and they said, wow, Olympics, tell me more, how can I help? Gosh, if that happened, I just found somebody that believed. And I held on to them like they were made out of gold, because that person was going to help me when my belief needed a boost.
Well, a lot of the other heroes that I've talked to, they all have the same story. that the people around him made all the difference in the world of them being able to achieve their dreams because those people actually believed that they could do it. Who do you think are the heroes today that aren't getting the recognition they deserve?
Gosh. Well, I think people like, teachers and firefighters and policemen and the guys that are defending our liberty out in the military. I mean, those people, a lot of them, they're making such a low amount of money for what they do. A lot of times they're putting their life on the line, and they're definitely making huge differences in many people's lives. And they're doing what other people are not willing to do. And so I think those are heroes for sure.
You know, there's always a question about people that are getting paid to be heroes and people that just do something to help out others, like the people that supported you in achieving your dreams, that do small things every day just to help others. What do you think is the difference between those people that are serving on the front line? Of course, they're all heroes, but the difference between people that know that that's a part of the job that they're signing up for compared to the people that are actually helping others secretly without any recognition?
Well, I think different people are wired differently, just by personality types. Some people are just wired where they do need the recognition. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as they're getting the job done. Other people, they feel more comfortable. They feel more, being behind the lines, being more of a support personnel. And it's funny, in some things, I like to be in the limelight. In other things, I'd much prefer being in the background. And so I think it shifts. But I think that where the person's heart is the key factor, right? If they're doing it for somebody else. I mean, let me tell you a story that just, something happened to me right before the Salt Lake City Olympics that made it possible for me to compete. We were training. This is 3 days before the men's race at the Salt Lake City Olympics. We're training on the track to get our last. We get 7 training runs on the week before, and I had a terrible crash on one of those runs. I just wasn't paying attention, believe it or not, and I had an awful crash, and my sled was pretty messed up, and I'm not much of a sled mechanic. And I walked back into the start house with my sled, and my face was just ashen, I guess, because I was pale, not so much from my crash, but from my sled. I thought, gosh, I got to race in 3 days, and I don't even have a sled. And this guy walks up to me. His name is Jonathan Edwards, and he had competed for the U.S. in the luge back in the Lillehammer Games in 1994. And I didn't even know him. And he walks up to me, and he says, "Hey, Ruben, just give me a file in 30 minutes, and I'll fix that sled for you." Wow. And he didn't have to do that. I mean, I didn't. He had nothing to gain, but just the satisfaction that he was helping another human being.
Wow.
And if I hadn't, he was like a guardian angel. He just came out of nowhere and he helped me out. And so it made me realize, wow, what if we all strive to be like that? To just be on the lookout, right? To have a certain level of awareness around us, and knowing that, gosh, where can I lend a helping hand? Because it might a simple thing for us might be life-changing for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. So you believe that's the way that people become heroes, is by helping others?
Well, I think that's a big. He's one of my heroes now. Mm-hmm. I mean, just that attitude that he had. I think that's a way of becoming a hero. Mm-hmm. But also, when people think of a hero, I think it's usually somebody that went out and did something that required courage. Somebody had to overcome their fears to do something. And I guess if you don't heed that call, you have a call, you have something in your heart and your gut that's telling you, gosh, I got to go do this. If you allow your fear to hold you back, then that's devastating because you can never grow into a better person if you don't challenge yourself.
Well, isn't that the truth? Well, what do you think of the things that parents can do that will help their children realize that they too can be heroes and make a positive difference in the lives of others?
Well, you have to lead by example. So you have to always do that, right? You have to always show your kids, and you have to surround them with examples. For example, I've got a 4-year-old little girl. She's almost 5, and we read her biographies at night, right? And we read her stories of people that had to overcome, and I just went to eBay and ordered a bunch of Horatio Alger stories to read to her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want her to always know that, look, these are heroes. These are people that actually overcame, and people really look up to them for what they did, and this is something you can do too. And our last name's Gonzalez, so whenever I ask her what do Gonzalez's never do, and she says never quit, right?
Yeah.
And so and what can we always do? We can make our dream come true, right?
Yeah.
So I'm encouraging her, and I'm giving her beliefs. I'm instilling beliefs in her, and she knows that, hey, as long as she doesn't quit, there's always a chance. And so I think that's what parents need to do.
Yeah. So Ruben, how does someone from a hot and steamy Houston end up competing in the Winter Olympics in the luge?
Well, the luge is about all I could do. I'm not that great of an athlete. I can't jump very high. I'm not very fast. I'm not extremely strong. I'm just a very average athlete. I'm a good athlete, but not great. And I played soccer for my college team. I was born in Argentina. My dad was a chemical engineer with Exxon. We got transferred to the United States when I was little, when I was about 6 years old. And I played soccer all my life, but always in little teams, and mostly as riding the bench, really.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 21, I'm watching the Olympics on TV, the Sarajevo Games, the 1984 Sarajevo Games, and I saw this little guy who was about 5'1", and he must have weighed 115 pounds, soaking wet. And this little 18-year-old kid wins a gold medal in figure skating. Scott Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw little Scott Hamilton win the gold medal, he gave me hope. I said to myself, gosh, if that little guy can do it, I can do it too. I want to be in the next Olympics for sure. It's a done deal. And there was no doubt. I believed so much. I mean, I was absolutely sure that was going to happen. My expectation was 100%. And Dennis Waitley says, what you expect, your level of expectation is the number one factor whether you're going to make something happen or not.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you're going to make it happen, you will. If you don't, you won't, period. And I believe. And I just had to find a sport because it wasn't going to be soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I've been playing soccer all my life, hundreds, tens of thousands of hours of practice, I was only good enough to be a bench warmer. Mm-hmm. And so is that even realistic? Someone's going to take up a brand new sport and do it. Well, I believe. So in my case, if you believe and you're willing to do the work, it is. And so I wrote Sports Illustrated a letter, because this is before the Internet, so I actually got a piece of paper and a pen, and I wrote them a letter and asked them, where do you go learn how to luge? And they actually wrote back, and they said, hey, Lake Placid, New York. Because, see, I was looking, I chose luge because my strength was perseverance. Mm-hmm. Over the years, I'd read hundreds of books, hundreds of biographies, and learned that people that didn't quit always made their dream come true. Mm-hmm. And so I was very perseverant. I'd learned to be perseverant. I made a decision, right, to become perseverant. Mm-hmm. My nickname was Bulldog. Wow. And so when I was looking for a sport, I looked for something I figured I've got to find something that's so tough. I've got to find a sport with so many broken bones. There's going to be a lot of quitters. And maybe I can rise to the top that way. Because I've made the plan based on my strength, perseverance. Mm-hmm. And so I picked luge. And I wrote Sports Illustrated, where do you go learn how to luge? I said, Lake Placid, New York. And so I called Lake Placid and I asked them, hey, I want to learn how to luge so I can be in the Olympics in 4 years. Will you help me? Right? Because you got to ask for help. I mean, it's so important. Mm-hmm. You can't, especially for a Spanish guy like me, Hispanics, we got this macho thing that, we don't want to ask anybody for help. Mm-hmm. And it's, you have to humble yourself to your leaders. You have to, because they're there because they've been through before and they can teach us. And so I humbled myself and I said, hey, will you help me? The guy asked me how old I was. I was 21. He starts laughing at me. 21? I mean, forget it. You're 10 years too late. Wow. He tried to talk me out of it, but I wasn't about to hang up. And eventually I convinced him and to at least let me go to a camp. He said, okay, well, we're having a camp. If you'll go, and when he found out I was born in Argentina, he got excited. He goes, well, if you'll go for Argentina, we'll help you because we need more countries in the luge, and that'll help the U.S. And so what if I had hung up? See, what if I had taken that first no? Mm-hmm. That would have been the end of the story. Yeah. And so by refusing to quit, even whenever I'm faced with a big challenge so big that I have no clue how I'm going to overcome it, I've train myself to start telling myself in my mind. I'm saying, I'll start saying, "There's always a way. There's always a way. There's got to be a way. I know there's a way. I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna find the way, because there's always a way. If you don't quit, you can make." I just keep saying that. It's like a little mantra, right? To get myself in a state of looking for a solution, rather than whining that, "Oh no, I guess we can't do it." Right? So that's going on, and I'm talking to this guy, and finally he tells me, "Well, if you'll go for Argentina, you can do it." I said, "Well, hell, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll be there." And he said, "Before you come to Lake Placid, you need to know two things." He said, "Number one, if you want to do it at your age, you want to do it in just 4 years, it's brutal. 9 out of 10 people quit."
Wow.
Well, when he said that, I started smiling. I thought, this is perfect. It fits right into my plan. And I said, what's the second thing? He said, "Expect to break some bones." And I got really excited then. I said, "Well, great. And he got real quiet for a while. He comes back and he says, "Well, what's wrong with you? I mean, I just told you you're going to break some bones." And I told him, "Look, man, I hope it's 10 times harder than what you're telling me. I hope it's 100 times harder. Because the harder it is, the easier it is for me." And I wasn't being cocky. I just realized that, hey, that was my only chance. It had to be so hard that the good guys were going to quit. And since my attitude was nothing's going to make me quit, that was going to be the only way that I would even have a chance. But he thought I was some kind of a cocky Texan or something, because he goes, "All right, Hoss, let's see what you can do. Come on down." And he hangs up on me. Well, and I went.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. What's it actually feel like going down a mountain? I think, what is that, 50 stories high at 90 miles an hour? It's got to be pretty scary, isn't it?
It's terrible. I mean, people ask me if it's scary, what's it feel like? Yeah, of course, it's very scary. I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm still scared after every run, and I've got thousands of runs under my belt.
Well, do you guys like, it's not snowing there during the summertime. Do you have like skateboard wheels on the bottom, or how do you do it during the summer? Yeah,
in fact, in the summer, the first camp that I did was training on wheels, and they're teaching you how to steer the sled, the basic mechanics of steering it. And we're going down the old bobsled track in Lake Placid from the half-mile point on a concrete track. Imagine this. You're going 50 miles an hour on a little bitty luge with 4 wheels under it. And all we're wearing is tennis shoes, shorts, and a T-shirt and a helmet.
Really?
Crash it straight to the hospital.
Oh, man.
It's the weeding out process, right? They want to know who the wannabes are, who the thrill seekers are, and who's serious. And in no time, people start dropping out like flies, because it's a lot like, the thrill seekers don't make it. It's the analytical ones, the ones that realize that, hey, luge is a vehicle to make my dream come true. And then they're willing to put up through get through that struggle. Because one thing I learned from reading all those biographies is that any biography you pick up, and if you don't like to read, if you just tune into the biography channel, you'll learn that every biography is the same story.
Yeah.
It's always a story of somebody that had a dream, then they went through a struggle, and they had a victory. It's always dream, struggle, victory. And you have to be willing to put yourself through the struggle to get that victory, and the analytical guys knew that, and then they stuck it out. And it's funny, in the luge circuit, there's a bunch of authors, there's lots of scientists, there's a couple of PhDs. It's amazing. I've never seen so many analytical types in a sport in my life.
Well, how many bones did you actually break? Which ones?
I broke my foot twice, my knee, my elbow, my hand, my thumb, a couple of ribs. And my neck's always messed up, because you're pulling up to 6 Gs on some of these curves. You're going 90 miles an hour. Imagine you're going 90 in one direction. You hit a U-turn, and your body wants to keep going straight. And so you're getting squashed against that curve at 6 Gs. And, that means I weigh 200 pounds. For a few moments, it feels like 1,200 pounds squashing me against that curve.
Wow.
And it's really bumpy, and so it's really rough on the body. We only take 4 to 5 runs a day.
Wow. And
so the rest of the time we have to be visualizing, right? How are you going to improve on just 4 runs a day?
Wow.
We do lots of mental rehearsal, right? Visualization.
Well, you say that school doesn't really prepare you to succeed in life. Explain that one. Well,
school prepares you to go out and get a job.
Yeah.
They don't teach much goal setting or success principles or people skills or how to be a leader. They don't teach you what it really takes to succeed. I mean, they might spend less than 1% of the time teaching you about attitude. And a Harvard study has proven that that 85% of what it takes to succeed in life is, even in high levels of corporate America, 85% is your attitude and your people skills, and only 15% is your technical skills. And school spends 99% of the time teaching you technical skills. And gosh, I mean, this is a generalization, okay? But well, you see a lot of this out there. A students end up teaching. B students end up working for C students. And it's the C students that own most of the businesses in America. Ray Kroc, the guy that started McDonald's, actually the guy that bought McDonald's from McDonald's brothers, Bill Gates, Sam Walton, Michael Dell, those guys didn't even graduate from college. Dick Cheney didn't either. Heck, we could end up with a president who was a college dropout. And so you go to your local college and you drive through the parking lot, and you look at the cars that the PhDs are driving, and, enough said, right? If you're creative and you've got a mind of your own in school these days, they either try to quench it or they put you on Ritalin. And so all of that said, right after all that rant, do I want my kids to go to college? Sure, of course I do. But I want to make sure they're going to learn the principles of success and the people skills from me, because I know they're not going to get those from college. So they're both important, but you just got to make sure to supplement college and supplement school with people skills and how to win friends and influence people and the magic of thinking big and Think and Grow Rich and stuff like that, because that's what's going to take them to the next level.
Yeah, so you think that in schools basically they're just teaching the kids how to be employees, not how to be entrepreneurs.
They're teaching them how to be sheep instead of teaching them how to be rhinos, and people are going to go out there and own the businesses.
Well, what are the two things that will determine where you'll end up in the next 5 years?
Well, it's my dad always said, I saw the Olympics when I was 10 years old. I got all excited. I started reading all these Olympic books, and I was talking up a big, talking about the Olympics, but I was afraid. I didn't believe myself. I never took action. And after a couple of years, my dad said, look, the two things are going to determine whether you make that dream come true are the books you read and the people you hang around with. And he got me into the biographies. I really like to read books, and he just kind of steered me towards reading biographies, and I really like that. And as far as the people you hang around with, he always said, look, you want to hang around winners. You want to hang around people you have respect for, not just people you have influence over. If all you ever do, Ruben, is hang around people you have influence over, then, oh, yeah, you feel great. You're like the big shot, right, the big fish in a small pond. Here in Texas, they call it big fish, but no big hat, but no cattle. And he says you're going to feel great, but if all you do is hang around those losers, as soon as you try to excel, they're going to feel threatened by you, and they're going to pull you down. He says you want to hang around winners. He said winners think big. Successful people always focusing on the possibilities, on the what if, on the how we're going to make it happen. They don't focus on the obstacles. They focus on the dream. And he said, look, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Ruben, you're going to feel out of place. You're going to feel like you don't belong. But force yourself, because you're going to have to force yourself. You're going to have to overcome some fears to even hang around these people. Because force yourself to hang around them, because what's going to happen is you hang around them long enough, and it's going to rub off on you. You'll start thinking big. You'll start seeing those possibilities. And when those people, those winners, they start believing in you, Ruben, you'll start believing in yourself because you respect their opinion. And it was genius. It really was. And I started doing it. I forced myself, and I still do it. I mean, whenever I can, I'll go out with people that make 10 times what I'm making, because I want to start thinking like someone that makes 10 times what I'm making, right? And then you start acting like it, and then boom, it starts happening. And so it works. It really works. And over a period of years, my belief level started growing. And then by the time I was 21, I was like a fruit that was ripe for picking. And that's when I saw Scott Hamilton. He was a catalyst that got me going. Another thing that helped me out a lot was I read my dad got me reading biographies. When I started college, my college coach, he gave me a copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that was the first self-help book I ever read. I thought, oh my gosh, this is awesome. They've actually distilled all the information from all these biographies, and it's in one book. And so that got me to reading all these books and learning the principles of success. And I asked people, well, are you reading the stuff that's going to help you reach your dreams? Because if you're not, you're fooling yourself. You really are. I mean, you have to do things differently from the average person if you want to be above average.
Boy, isn't that true? Well, you say that anyone can double their income. How can I double my income? I'd like to double mine.
Well, it goes down to who you're hanging around with. I mean, I am constantly. Everybody makes. You give me a list of the 10 people you hang around, most of the time with,
mm-hmm.
and we average all their incomes, and I'll bet we're really close to your income right there. And so, if you want to double your income, you start hanging around people that make twice what you do.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess that's why I'm trying to hang around with you.
And I wanted to hang around with you, so this is working out really well.
So, why do you need courage to succeed?
Why do you need courage? Well, because you got to have two types of courage to succeed. You got to have the guts to get started, okay? When you have that dream, and it took me 10 years to get my gumption up, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get myself believing enough. But you got to, sooner or later, you got to have the guts to get started. And I guarantee you, Ralph, as soon as you get started, life's going to start smacking you with all these obstacles, and things are going to happen.
That's true.
And when that happens, you got to have the guts to not quit. So my book is called The Courage to Succeed, because it's not about the courage I had to have. It's about the courage that anybody has to have to, how do you develop that courage, right?
Yeah.
How do you make it happen?
Yeah. Well, what are the belief and desires that are so important to win in life?
Well, in the Olympic Training Center, everything they teach us from a mental training standpoint, like the inner game of sports and of life,
mm-hmm.
they teach us everything is designed to do two things: to increase our self-belief, because they know that if we believe that something is possible, we'll take action, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have belief, you'll take action, and that's the first type of courage.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing they're trying to accomplish is to fuel our desire. Because if you want something bad enough, nothing's going to make you quit.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you believe it can happen, if you want it bad enough, then you'll get started and you won't quit. And then miracles start happening. And so it's all about your belief and your desire.
Mm-hmm.
And the belief, is the books you read and the people you hang around with, and your desire. The two things that we do to fuel our desire is, number one, we're very careful about our self-talk. We're mm-hmm. constantly saying positive affirmations, about what we're going to do. We set goals, and we also do lots of visualization. We're always vividly imagining what's it going to feel like, what's it going to smell like, what's it going to taste like, what's it going to look like when I finally make my dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see it like that, and you get really excited, and you get in front of that mirror, and you tell yourself, hey, I will be a 4-time Olympian. I know it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. You start doing that stuff. You get eyeball to eyeball in front of that mirror, and you say it like you're mad. Man, mm-hmm. You actually, your mind, your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between that and something that's actually happening. Mm-hmm. And so you become unstoppable on the way your dreams. And most people aren't willing to do that.
Are you going to go for a fourth Olympia?
Yeah, Vancouver 2010. Yeah, this coming one next year in Torino.
Uh-huh.
That one I was too busy building my business to be able to afford to go out. But but now my business is really solid, and so Vancouver 2010 in 5 years. I would love to finish my career in Canada.
Wow, well,
their spirit is awesome.
What's the one quality all successful people have?
Is perseverance. I mean, all successful people, and that's what I learned from the biographies. I mean, no matter what I read, whether it was a sports biography or business or military or Mother Teresa, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody had to be perseverant, because perseverance got them through the struggle. Because these people, sometimes, when they were going through that struggle, some of these people, sometimes they went 20 years banging their head on the wall trying to figure out how we're going to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And by refusing to quit, by having that staying power, that allowed one of two things to always happen. If they refused to quit, they either figured it out on their own, right? Eventually, mm-hmm. trial and error made it to where they finally figured out a way to make it happen, or more than likely they ran into somebody that became their mentor, mm-hmm. somebody that had done what they were trying to accomplish, and they learned from them. But if they quit, those two things didn't have a chance to happen, and they never made their dream come true. So perseverance was the whole key.
Well, what's the best way for people to set goals? How did the Olympians do it?
Well, first of all, you have to discipline yourself to write your goals down every morning. Writing them down is an act of commitment that gets your subconscious mind working, and it's the first step of commitment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a rule that before I can turn on my computer, I got to write down my goals, and it only takes a couple of minutes. And
Mm-hmm.
you do it every day, and it makes a difference. It starts becoming ingrained. It's kind of like you get to the point where you're so focused on your goal that anything that could possibly help you, you pick up on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like you have a guidance system in your mind that helps you attract people that could help you. And it's no different from when you buy, let's say you buy a red Mustang, right? Or you buy any type of car. As soon as you pull out of that dealership, you realize that, gosh, everybody bought a red Mustang today, right? Because you're seeing them everywhere.
Yep.
It's the same thing. Your mind just became attuned to seeing that. And so you write those goals every day, and then on one side, I take a card, 3x5 card, and on one side, I would write in the present tense what my goal was. And so even before I even, it's like my last card used to say, it's February 2002, I am walking into the opening ceremonies in Salt Lake City. I am now a 3-time Olympian. That's what my card used to say. Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, you write 3 things that you're doing every day to make your dream come true. Now, you don't write 3 things that you ought to be doing. No, you write 3 things that you're actually doing. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And so mine said, on the back side, it said, I'm a 3-time Olympian because I work out every day, I eat right, I hang around winners, and I never quit. I put an extra one just in case. And so when you read the front side, that kind of reminds your mind, right, where you're going. And when you read the back side, eventually your mind starts thinking, man, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm persistently doing all this stuff. I mean, it's got to happen. I deserve it. You get to the point when you start feeling you deserve it, man, look out. Nothing's going to make you stop. And so you get to the point eventually through visualization and through writing your goals and through all these things coming together, you get to the point where a broken bone becomes a temporary inconvenience because you know that you were designed, you were created to make that dream come true, and nothing's going to stop you. It's just a matter of time.
Huh. Well, tell us about the story when you almost talked yourself out of the Olympics.
Well, in about a year and a half before the Salt Lake City Olympics, we're training for a World Cup race in St. Moritz in Switzerland. And we were training in the morning, and the Italians were training in the afternoon. And the Italians were the best. And so that afternoon, as soon as we finished our first day's training, I went in the afternoon to the fastest point of the track, and I wanted to watch the Italians. I wanted to see what they were doing so I could copy their lines, right? It's kind of like, they're going to be my mentors whether they want to or not. Yeah. And I'm sitting on curve 13 watching them zip by at 80, 85 miles an hour. And watching luge on TV is kind of boring. But, we watch the channel on when it's on TV. But live, it's amazing. I mean, Ralph, when you're 2 feet away from somebody zipping by 80 miles an hour, and you can actually feel the wind they make as they're coming by, it's just unbelievable. And so one of these Italians would go by, and I'd mutter to myself, gosh, I can't believe I do that. And then another one would go by, and I can't believe I do that. And I did that for 2 hours. And I wasn't having any problems in that track. I was just trying to fine-tune to be a little bit faster. Yeah. Well, the next day, when I'm training, when I get to curve 13, my mind just, he said, that's right, Ruben, you can't do that. And I froze. And I forgot to steer. And I had an awful crash. I tore my sled. I mean, it just smashed into pieces. Wow. I broke my foot, broke my hand, and I thought that's it. I mean, a year and a half from now, I thought, man, forget it. I can't afford a new sled. I'm all broken up. And I had a pity party for about 3 days, and which is real long for me. Yeah. And halfway over the Atlantic, flying back home, halfway over the Atlantic, I got my head straight, and I said, "Hey, I've had things like this happen before. I will heal up for sure. So I'm going to hit that gym as soon as I get back home." And I can't afford to buy another sled. Well, I'll borrow a sled. And so I started calling everybody to see if they had an extra sled. And finally, Adam Cook of the New Zealand team, he lent me his sled. And so the whole next year, I qualified for the Olympics with somebody else's sled, a sled 2 inches too short for me. And I competed in Salt Lake on that. But hey, sure beat sliding on my rear end. And so there's always a way. There's always a way if you just refuse to quit and go looking for that way.
Well, what are the Olympics really about?
The Olympics are not even about sports. The Olympics are really about the dream. They're a place that showcases to the world the power of the human spirit. the fact that if somebody is if somebody's got a dream and they're willing to go for it and they refuse to quit, dreams do come true. And at the closing ceremonies of the Salt Lake City Olympics, Mitt Romney, the guy that organized, he was the CEO of the Olympics. He faced the athletes right at the closing ceremonies, and he said, "Athletes, you figured it out. You figured out how to make your dream come true. You cracked the code on how to make it happen. And so after the Olympics, it's your responsibility to go out in the world and teach other people how they can make their dreams come true, because that's how we can make this a better world." And so I really took that to heart, and I got into speaking, and I speak all over the country to all kinds of groups about what we're talking about today. How do we go to point A to point B, and how do you get your belief up? And then people started asking me, well, how do you can you teach me more? Can you give me more? I mean, more than what you can tell me in an hour or two. And so they started asking me to put together some resources. And so after 3 years of having people ask me this, I finally sat down and I put together a success system called the Go for the Gold success system. Mm-hmm. And it's a 4 CD set. I mean, 4 hours of really deep stuff, what you really need to do, A through Z. And then a manual and another CD and a Becoming Unstoppable DVD that really takes you through it again, and a book called The Courage to Succeed. It's just a whole integrated thing where you can read it and you can listen to it and you can just start becoming the person that you need to be in order to start making your dreams come true.
Well, where can people get that?
You can go to my website is thelugeman.com. That's TheLugeman.com. And if you go to the page, that's thelugeman.com/win, WIN, because that's what you want to do. You want to win, .htm. So it's thelugeman.com/win.htm. You can learn all about the system. And individually, all these parts sell for almost $200. And I got a special for your for all of your listeners that they can get everything for $97. And it's all guaranteed for life. I mean, as long as I'm alive, they can return it. I mean, if they don't get 10 times what they invested, they need to return it. But I don't think they will.
Well, I really appreciate you taking your valuable time to talk with us. And I was wondering if you would share that one story that you shared at the Bunny Slippers boot camp about that one time when you were at that boxing camp and you were telling the people that you were a loser.
Sure.
I always thought that was pretty inspiring. Could you share that with us?
Sure. This is about 15 years ago. I'm working out in a little bitty gym here in Houston, and in walks Evander Holyfield. And back then, Evander Holyfield was the brand new champ, heavyweight champ, and he was in all the magazines. And everybody's talking about Evander Holyfield. And he walks in, him and 10 other boxers walk into our little bitty gym. And as soon as he walked in, everybody, including myself, started whispering real loud, right? That's Evander Holyfield. What's he doing here? And nobody had the guts to go up to him and say hello. Me neither, right? I mean, I wasn't about to go up to him and say, "Hi, Evander, Ruben Gonzalez, aspiring Olympian." Right. But there was this little guy, the littlest guy of all. He was about Scott Hamilton size, about 5 feet tall. He didn't look so bad. I thought, hey, I can talk to him, right? Mm-hmm. And so he didn't look so imposing. So the little guy gets on a stationary bike to start warming up, and I got right next to him. And I asked him, what do you do? What's your sport? You see, I figured he was a boxer, but I wanted to start a conversation. Mm-hmm. So what do you do? He goes, I box. What do you do? I said, I'm a loser. Well, he thought I said loser, right? So he freaks out on me. He starts screaming. He goes, a loser? Don't you ever call yourself a loser, man. You're a winner. You're a winner. And, oh, man, that stopped everybody in the club cold, right? They got off their machines and stretched their necks and wanted to see who the loser was. And as embarrassing as could be, your own gym. Can you imagine? Yeah. And so I told him, no, man, this is a luge. It's, like the bobsled. And I explained it to him, because back then you had to explain it to everybody. Mm-hmm. And he laughed and said, oh, sorry, man, I thought you called yourself a loser. So thanks. Now everybody else thinks I am. Well, turns out this little guy was Vinny Pazienza. He was a reigning world champion lightweight boxer. I mean, if I'd known he was the champ, I wouldn't have talked to him either, right? Mm-hmm. But when I found out who he was, I asked him, well, Vinny, why did you go ballistic on me when you thought I called myself a loser? And he said, Ruben, you ought to know better. He says, winners don't call themselves losers. Champions don't call themselves stupid. They just don't. They don't. He said, sometimes I'm walking down the mall, I got nothing to do, And you know what's going on in my head? I said, no, what, Vinny? He goes, I'm the champ, I'm the champ, I'm the best. I rule the ring. Nobody can beat me. He said, I don't go out and say that to my friends, because if I did, you know, well, bragging, I wouldn't have any friends. But he says, I've got to say that to myself, because some days I don't feel worthy of the title. And I'm so glad he said that to me, because it just blew me away. I said, you're kidding me, right? You're the champ, you feel that way? He goes, I'm a human being. Everybody feels that way. And I'm just so thankful that he opened up, because I feel that way all the time. And so he took the excuse away. I knew that, hey, from now on, I'm not going to let how I feel determine whether I do what I need to be doing to make my dream come true, because feelings come and go. He just took that excuse away. And he said, look, Ruben, what you need to do is you start wearing a rubber band on your wrist, and every time you catch yourself bad-mouthing yourself, calling yourself stupid, calling yourself, you know, an idiot, you pop yourself as hard as you can, and then replace that negative word with a positive word. And that'll change it. And in 30 days, it'll change your life. I said, you're kidding, right? I mean, it sounds so simplistic. Well, he said, hey, I did it. It worked for me. Evander did it, and it worked for him, too. I thought, gosh, if it's good enough for Evander Holyfield and for Vinny, good enough for me. So I finished my workout. I went and got me a rubber band. It wasn't 20 minutes later that I did something dumb, and I called myself an idiot. I mean, you idiot, that's what I used to say. And as soon as I did, I had to pop myself, all right? So it's, pow, pop myself as hard as I could. I'm not an idiot. I'm a winner. And this went on all the time, like every 10 or 15 minutes. Seems like I was going through that. And it didn't even take me, you know, a month. In 3 weeks, it changed my life. I mean, I had a big welt in my arm, on my wrist. And eventually I got to the point where I do something dumb, and then just short of calling myself an idiot, I go, I'm a winner, right? And so it's like I nipped that negative habit in the bud. And that's what it was all about. It was about changing your habits, because your habits are going to determine your destiny. And so he knew that. And my friends started noticing that, hey, Ruben, you know, there's something wrong about you. There's something different about you. You know, what's different? I mean, did you get a new haircut? What is it? And I said, no. You know, it was just that I've gotten a little more positive, right? I got my attitude a little higher. And then I started noticing how much negative talk was going on, how much bad-mouthing was going on amongst my friends. And I didn't want to get into that second-hand negative, because I knew it was going to affect me just as bad. And so I started hanging around a more positive group of friends. And it went back to what my dad had said, who you hanging around with. See, who you hang around with is 90% of success. I believe that so much. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. You hang around a bunch of losers, they're going to drag you down. You hang around a bunch of winners, they're going to pull you up. Because successful people know what it took to be successful, and they know it was a struggle, they know it was hard, but they know that it's attainable for anybody. And so once somebody like you and me has tasted success, we know that you know, anybody can do it. And we become like a dad or a mom that has a 1-year-old that's learning how to walk, and they're falling on their face, but you know they're going to learn how to walk, and we just got to have to encourage them a little bit. So, come on, baby, you can do it. Come on, keep walking. Come on, poof, it falls again. And you keep doing that, and you start encouraging. You become an encourager. And so if you're out there listening to this talk, and if you want to be if your dream is to be an astronaut, go to Google and find the email addresses of 10 astronauts and start communicating with them. Tell them, hey, give me some tips. What did you do? Give me a game plan. And they'll be so glad you did. Because, see, they've dedicated their whole life to be an astronaut, and they will be feeling flattered that somebody else wants to dedicate their life. And as long as you take action on what they suggest, they'll keep helping you. And they'll help you get there so much faster. And you can do that for anything. So I encourage everybody to get out there and, you know, humble yourself to somebody else's leadership and take advantage of that free knowledge.
Yeah, so once you go and find people that are achieving what you want to achieve, and you start doing what they say, and they're willing to help you be more successful.
Exactly. And they will.
Yeah, so I think that's
successful people like to talk about success. They just do.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're always looking for people to help to be successful because they know how to do it, and all it takes is a little humility to get to that point to do it.
Yeah, and then guess what? You know what happens? They show you the ropes. They start telling you that you can do it. You start buying into that, and you start doing it, and then a few years down the line, you know what other people are calling you? A hero.
Yeah. Well, that's what the Heroes Program is all about, is to get kids to get in contact with people like you. And Do you have an email address or something young people can contact you that might want to become lugers?
Sure. You can. The easiest way is just go straight to that website, thelugeman.com, TheLugeman.com, and just hit contact, and you'll find my email and my phone number. I mean, I'm just a phone call away. And but the email is Ruben, RUBEN, at thelugeman.com, and my number is 832-689-8282, and I am a phone call away.
Boy, that's just amazing. Well, we really appreciate your help in the program, Ruben, and I know that this is one of the most inspirational of all the interviews that we've had so far, and so again, we just really appreciate what you've accomplished and how just what you said can help anybody from becoming a loser to a winner.
That's it. Well, Ralph, thanks for the opportunity to get to share this message, and hopefully I can help some people along.
That's a great message. Again, thanks, Ruben. We really appreciate it.
Awesome.